I am Remi Jurmain with my Black African Diaspora. Moorish World TV raises questions about Tariq Nasheed and the FBA movement. Source: Moorish World TV, YouTube, program host, Taharkabe. In part 1 of a 2-hour broadcast on Moorish World TV, host Taharkabe presented an extended critique questioning whether media personality Tariq Nasheed functions as a political grifter whose messaging may work against the long-term interests of Black people in the United States. The program framed its discussion as an examination of patterns, marketing strategies, and psychological influence rather than a personal attack. Taharkabe opened the broadcast by apologizing for a delayed start and encouraged viewers to share the program, describing it as an educational presentation that would introduce what he called new receipts. He emphasized that the purpose of the show was to allow viewers to reach their own conclusions based on the information presented. Central premise of the broadcast. The central question posed in part 1 of the program was whether Tariq Nasheed should be understood as a con artist. Taharkabe stated that there was, in his view, a strong possibility that Nasheed fits this description, but stressed that the audience would ultimately decide. According to the host, recognizing a con artist requires identifying behavioral patterns rather than focusing on individual statements. He argued that Moorish World TV exists to document and analyze such patterns over time, particularly when public figures repeatedly shift identities, narratives, or branding while maintaining similar methods of influence. Claims of psychological manipulation. Taharkabe asserted that Nasheed's earlier work, particularly his so-called Mac lessons, demonstrated an understanding of persuasion techniques that he now allegedly applies to political organizing through the foundational Black Americans, commonly referred to as FBA movement. The host argued that FBA operates as what he described as a con game that targets sincere people searching for identity, belonging, and political direction. He claimed that the movement relies on emotional triggers, simplified slogans, and repetition rather than structural solutions or material outcomes. Throughout the segment, Taharkabe repeatedly characterized the FBA project as a rebranded continuation of earlier commercial ventures associated with Nasheed, rather than a fundamentally new political movement. Pattern of rebranding and merchandising. A key theme in part 1 was the idea that Nasheed frequently changes public personas while maintaining the same underlying objectives. Taharkabe cited Nasheed's transitions from relationship advice branding to cultural commentary, music promotion, and political activism as evidence of a consistent pattern of rebranding. According to the broadcast, older products, books, and media associated with previous personas remain available for sale, suggesting that newer political messaging supplements rather than replaces earlier ventures. The host described this as a hallmark of long-running con operations, in which new narratives are layered onto existing commercial structures. Allegations of cosplay politics. Taharkabe introduced the concept of political cosplay to describe what he claimed was performative activism. He argued that Nasheed adopts visual styles, language, and symbols designed to resonate emotionally with audiences, without demonstrating consistency in ideology or lineage. The host further claimed that FBA functions as an organized movement without formal documentation, driven by a central figure who controls narrative direction. In this framing, supporters were described as participants in a performance rather than members of a transparent political organization. Division versus unity. Another major argument presented in part 1 was that political unity rhetoric has become less profitable in the online media economy, while division generates sustained engagement and financial support. Taharkabe argued that earlier eras of Pan-African or unity-based messaging were monetized until interest declined, after which more divisive frameworks became financially advantageous. According to the broadcast, FBA represents a shift away from global Black unity toward a narrowly defined national identity that discourages collaboration with Black populations outside the United States. Broader context and framing. Taharkabe placed his critique within a historical context, suggesting that Black political movements have frequently been studied, influenced, or redirected through data-driven psychological analysis. He argued that modern social media platforms amplify these dynamics by rewarding emotionally charged content over long-term organizing. The host stated that the purpose of part 1 was to establish a foundation for further evidence and analysis to be presented in the second part of the program, including what he described as documentation supporting his claims. Conclusion of part 1. Part 1 of the Moorish World TV broadcast concluded with Taharqa Bey asserting that Tariq Nasheed operates primarily as an actor and marketer rather than a principal political leader. He maintained that FBA should be critically examined as a commercial and psychological project, not accepted at face value as a liberation movement. The host emphasized that viewers should question public figures, examine inconsistencies, and evaluate whether movements produce tangible benefits or primarily generate revenue and influence for their leaders. This report summarizes the claims, arguments, and framing presented in Part 1 of the Moorish World TV broadcast, and does not constitute independent verification of the allegations discussed. Subject: infiltration methodology, identity redirection, and ideological cosplay. In Part 2 of the reviewed video, commentator Taharqa Bey expands his argument that infiltration of liberation-oriented movements is a long-standing and repeatable methodology, not limited to any single community. He states that organizations perceived as potential threats to dominant power structures, whether African-descended or European, are subjected to the same processes of monitoring, entry, and redirection. According to Taharqa Bey, infiltration is not primarily designed to destroy organizations outright. Instead, he argues that the central objective is to confuse direction, disrupt clarity, and alter how people understand legitimate paths toward liberation. He emphasizes that remnants of organizations are often intentionally preserved, while their ideological compass is distorted, leading to fragmentation and internal conflict. As a case study, Taharqa Bey references the Moorish Science Temple of America, which he argues was infiltrated and manipulated in a manner that resulted in numerous factions and widespread confusion regarding the original teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. He maintains that this fragmentation has caused misrepresentation of Moorish identity, allowing opportunistic actors to promote distorted interpretations disconnected from the original doctrine. Taharqa Bey asserts that infiltration functions through proximity rather than opposition. He describes it as the placement of individuals who monitor collective sentiment, analyze behavioral patterns, and anticipate future actions, with the intent to later redirect movements away from effective outcomes. In this framework, he characterizes contemporary identity-based movements as redirections rather than organic developments. A central theme in this segment is what Taharqa Bey refers to as ideological cosplay. He uses this term to describe the practice of adopting cultural symbols, language, clothing, and liberation rhetoric to gain trust within conscious communities. According to his analysis, such performances are not expressions of genuine alignment, but strategic efforts to build credibility before steering movements toward less threatening positions. Taharqa Bey draws parallels between multiple figures within the broader conscious community, arguing that the same entry techniques are repeatedly used: public association with African heritage, symbolic gestures, travel narratives, and selective invocation of Pan-African language. He suggests that these actions function as confidence-building measures rather than evidence of authentic commitment. The report further outlines Taharqa Bey's claim that identity labels are repeatedly introduced because they are known to provoke emotional engagement. He argues that people of African descent have historically been responsive to externally imposed and internally debated identifiers, making identity a reliable entry point for manipulation. In his view, new labels succeed not because they resolve structural issues, but because they resonate with unresolved questions of belonging. Taharqa Bey contrasts this with Pan-Africanism, which he describes as a historically consistent philosophy that directly confronted imperialism and white supremacy on a global scale. He argues that, unlike narrow identity frameworks, Pan-Africanism sought unity across borders and emphasized material, political, and economic coordination. In this segment, Taharqa Bey also alleges that selective enforcement of ideological standards, including the misuse of the concept of a code, functions to police behavior within movements while shielding influential figures from accountability. He frames this as another mechanism of control that preserves hierarchy while discouraging independent analysis. Finally, Taharqa Bey concludes Part 2 by reiterating that infiltration succeeds when it is subtle. He argues that effective infiltration mirrors the language, priorities, and emotional concerns of the community it targets, gradually redirecting focus rather than confronting it directly. According to his assessment, this process results in long-term confusion, internal division, and ideological dilution that can persist for years through reinterpretation and repetition. This concludes the separate report for Part 2 of the Taharka video, focusing specifically on infiltration methodology, identity manipulation, and the strategic redirection of liberation discourse, ideology, the misuse of the code, and the question of leadership. In the third and final segment of the Taharka video under review, the discussion shifts from historical framing and infiltration theory to a more detailed critique of ideology, language, and leadership within contemporary Black political movements. Taharka argues that the effectiveness of infiltration depends not on force, but on fluency. Fluency in language, culture, and liberation rhetoric. According to Taharka, successful infiltration requires mastery of the very talking points a community uses to define itself. He explains this by analogy, stating that infiltration into China would require fluency in Chinese language and culture, and that intelligence agencies historically deploy individuals who can pass undetected because they share physical appearance, speech patterns, and cultural familiarity. He claims that similar techniques have been used globally, including in the Middle East during conflicts involving Iraq, where local-looking intermediaries allegedly facilitated regime change. Taharka emphasizes that popularity and visibility should not be mistaken for legitimacy or long-term strategic success. He states that popularity may win short-term battles, but it does not determine the outcome of a broader struggle. In this context, he challenges the idea that street credibility equates to political credibility, particularly when, in his words, formal legal documents and recorded interactions contradict public perception. A central focus of this segment is Taharka critique of the concept of a so-called code of conduct as promoted within certain movements. He argues that this concept has been selectively borrowed and distorted from the work of Neely Fuller Jr., whose definition of racism centers on a global system of predatory control by one race over another for economic, political, social, and psychological advantage. Taharka asserts that, under Fuller's framework, the code is meant to identify and confront systemic racism, not to redirect frustration toward other oppressed groups within the African diaspora. He argues that attacking Haitians, Nigerians, Somalis, or other African-descended communities constitutes a violation of the original code, not adherence to it. In his analysis, such behavior benefits the very system the code was designed to dismantle. The report further notes Taharka claim that coded language and identity fragmentation function as psychological tools that maintain existing power structures. He argues that acronyms and narrowed identity labels obscure lineage, disrupt historical continuity, and foster internal conflict rather than collective accountability. He contrasts this with what he describes as true lineage, which traces identity beyond the plantation era and reconnects individuals to a broader historical and geographic context. Taharka also addresses leadership and accountability, rejecting the notion that movements without formal leaders are leaderless. He argues that influence naturally creates hierarchy, and that individuals who define terminology, set boundaries, and monetize symbols function as de facto leaders, regardless of whether they accept responsibility publicly. According to him, denying leadership while exercising control allows individuals to avoid accountability while benefiting financially and socially. Another key argument presented involves compensatory action, a principle Taharka attributes to Fuller's framework. He states that meaningful action should focus on economic power, policy advocacy, and community building. He questions whether contemporary movements meet these criteria, asserting that symbolic actions without institutional engagement do not constitute genuine advocacy. In closing, Taharka frames his analysis as a call for awareness rather than division. He emphasizes the importance of recognizing behavioral patterns, historical trends, and ideology. According to his concluding remarks, understanding these patterns allows communities to resist manipulation, avoid cyclical conflicts, and move toward coordinated, justice-oriented strategies. This third part completes the analytical arc of the video, moving from claims of infiltration through ideological critique to a broader reflection on leadership, language, and long-term collective goals. My next news is
So I was watching a video yesterday, and I saw part of a video. I don't know if it's a new video, man, but I saw one of these guys is making lots of historical videos about black people in Africa and all those stuff. But he had then this Professor Small. Let's hear what he said, man. It's like he said he's distancing himself from the FBA movement and ADOS. I don't know if it's a old video or a new video, because I also got videos from 2016, 2014 from a so-called black community from back then. But anyways, let's check this video quickly, man. Where do I got this? Yeah, man.
I am not ADOS.
Let's hear it, man.
I am not FBA. I am not ADOS. And no matter how long you've been in the Americas or anywhere in the world, we came here from Africa. And anyone who wants to foolishly give up the identity of their grandmothers and grandfathers and their great-parents, I feel sad for you, because slavery and colonialism have impacted you in a greater way than we even think. And yet all of us have been...
And that's what I was saying in the videos. Like, how can you come out in my culture, where I come from, we're not allowed to ask for reparation. Our God will deal with it. We have a treaty from 1760, 1620, like I've said in many videos. But anyways, if you would go out there and ask for reparation on names of Africans, and you are FBA, Foundational Black American Slave. I don't know American slaves. Africans were in slavery, so how can you come out and attack Haitian, make Haitian revolution movie, but you're attacking Haitians? You're gonna make a Maroon movie, but you're attacking Jamaicans, Akompong, and all those people. You're gonna make a Moorish movie about the Moors of Europe, but you cussing out those guys from England. Who do you think those Moors were, man? These Moors you're seeing over there now, they are mixed just like the people in Brazil. Before they were just like James Small over there. Because over time, because this thing has been going on for like 1200 years now. Many people are counting like 400 years, but that's from the last time. Let's keep it at that. That's the time of look up the 80-year war between Spain and the Netherlands. Look up that war, then you will know about Black Pete. If you want to know about Black Pete, look up the war, the 80-year war between Spain and the Netherlands. Then there you might find some info. But what he's saying here, how can you be descendants of African slaves, but you're claiming to be Black American and cussing out African? All those inventions from black inventions, because Niger, Nikeri, it means black, just like Dudu. Yes, Dudu and Baka. We say in Suriname, they say Baka. Maybe you brought those words over there when you were so in slavery. Yeah, just imagine that somebody was locked up for 400 years and he's gonna come out after indoctrination of his master and then try to teach those who are outside. Okay, lots of Africa was colonized, but that was after slavery. Many things was destroyed. That's why many of these crazies are like, why weren't the Africans coming to get us? They were fighting for 200 years already before slavery. Don't know if you're crazy. Yeah, let's leave. Let's hear what he's saying. I'm gonna skip to the next man.
And anyone who you've been in the Americas, I am not FBA. I am not ADOS. And no matter how long you've been in the Americas or anywhere in the world, we came here from Africa. And anyone who wants to foolishly give up the identity of their grandmothers and grandfathers and their great parents, I feel sad for you, because slavery and colonialism have impacted you in a greater way than we even think. And yet all of us have been impacted by it. But we need to be clear. Don't try to misuse me, Professor James Small. I do not support your backwards, ignorance, foolish point of view about the family and the race. We are one African people. We will die as one African people, or we will live eternally as one African people.
So James Smalls recently exposed the fecal brain assimilationist agents, and he directly used the appellation CIA to refer to these agents. Many of these individuals.
So man, so you've heard what James Small had to say. Wait, let me change this thing, man, because it's invisible almost. Let me use this. Yeah, man. Yeah, move it up. Place it over here, man. Let me scale it. Yep. Oh, yeah, man. I'm gonna leave it like that. So, man. So you heard what James Small had to say. So I'm gonna move to the next video, man.
Y'all, Brazil is so black, I literally cannot tell who's Brazilian.
Yeah, there is even a woman from Trinidad who is in Suriname learning my language, my style patois, from, because you have the city patois and you have the jungle inlanders patois. She's there and she's speaking it quickly. It's like yeah. Let's leave it at that. Let's listen to what she's got to say, because there is 100 million. When I say 100 million, is just estimation, because many of those people are getting mixed, because every so much years they will send many prisoners and people from Spain and Portugal to go there to Brazil and mix with those Native Americans and Africans. So you have like the Berbers has become today, like Mauritania. That's how Brazil is becoming day by day. Well, there is 100 million black people there. And this Tariq Nasheed is coming out here saying, yeah, we are 40 million strong. There is 1.4 billion Africans globally. What do you think? Yeah, let's listen to this woman. What he's doing, he is a cursed guy. That's why when you see somebody is going to prison every time, it's because they are cursed. It's called bakru. Yeah, you don't know these things. Even when you are at Satire platform speaking, you sound like children to me. Really, it's not a joke, because you don't know anything. All these things you're speaking is from the plantation view, what the colonizer told you after you was not allowed to read for 400 years. I was out there in the jungle for 500 years. Nigga, even when Africa was colonized, I was out there. Just saying. Let's listen to this girl, our woman.
versus Jamaican and y'all, Brazil is so black, I literally cannot tell who's Brazilian versus Jamaican, Angolan, Georgian. Not Georgian, because that's an actual country. Let me try that again. I legitimately cannot tell who's Brazilian versus Jamaican, from the Congo, from Georgia. But I guess it's not too surprising when you think about the fact that they have more black people than any other country outside of the continent of Africa. And they also trafficked in more enslaved Africans than any other country too. Come to think of it, they were also...
You see, when you come out here speaking, why I was making the video, are these guys crazy? Yeah, our situation was the worst. Nigga, Willie Lynch comes from Wild Coast. Brazil is called Wild Coast. Suriname is northern Brazil. Guyana is northern Brazil. French Guyana, it was one Guyana. Then they had war between England and the French and the Dutch, and they split it up. Just like New York, Brooklyn is Breukelen here in Netherlands. Yes, Harlem in America, North America, is Harlem over here. New York name was New Amsterdam. New Amsterdam is in Suriname. Yeah, let's hear it, man. Yeah, let's hear it.
The last country to... Y'all, Brazil is so black, I literally cannot tell who's Brazilian versus Jamaican. Y'all, Brazil is so black, I literally cannot tell who's Brazilian versus Jamaican, Angolan, Georgian, not Georgian, because that's an actual country. Let me try that again. I legitimately cannot tell who's Brazilian versus Jamaican from the Congo, from Georgia. But I guess it's not too surprising when you think about the fact that they have more black people than any other country outside of the continent of Africa. And they also trafficked in more enslaved Africans than any other country too. Come to think of it, they were also the last country to abolish slavery, 20 years after the United States. Well, dang, Brazil. But that does make what I'm about to tell you even more interesting. Because in spite of those brutal, centuries-long conditions, some enslaved Africans escaped and built entire independent towns tucked deep into Brazil's forests.
You see, when I was saying, you see where Maroons live? Just like I was showing you the Maroons in Suriname. Deep in the jungle. Yeah. It was designated that Maroons had to be 10 hours away from plantations. So you would not be able to come and attack the plantation in the night. That's why they was doing that. So if you did that, they would leave that part alone for a while until they will have more men, and then suddenly they would come back and try to conquer you or whatever to get you to put you in slavery again. Yeah. These are called quilombo in Brazil. You have in Colombia, you have palenque, palenqueros. In Suriname, you also got palenque. That's from the Matawai. You hear the name Mata. Why? Do you know what that means? Exactly. Yeah. Let's leave it at that. Let this woman speak. Let this woman speak.
Mountains where they could finally conditions. Some enslaved Africans escaped and built entire independent towns tucked deep into Brazil's forests and mountains where they could finally live free. And those settlements are called quilombos. There are more than 40 just in the state. Some enslaved Africans escaped and built entire independent towns.
Hey, what was written there? I thought quilombo, black land. Key. You know what key means? Exactly.
Towns tucked deep into Brazil's forests and mountains where they could finally live free. Centuries-long conditions, some enslaved Africans escaped and built entire independent towns tucked deep into Brazil's forests and mountains where they could finally live free. And those settlements are called quilombos. There are more than 40 just in the state of Sao Paulo, and the quilombo history is part of the region's newest Afro-tourism guide, so you know I had to pull up to one. And these weren't just hideaway spots out in the cut. Back in the day, these were thriving communities with farmland, trade routes, spiritual practices, and full military systems. At their peak, there were...
You see there, what you saw there is called Santeria. Because many of these Maroons after slavery, many of the Maroons went to the cities and you had to change your name into a European name. Whether you were in slavery or not. After slavery, if you wanted to be in the city, you had to stay in the quilombo or where Maroons live in the jungle. But if you wanted to go to the city, you had to change your clothing. You was not allowed to practice your African culture, and you have to abide by their rules and change your name to a Portuguese name or a Dutch name or whatever. They would pick a name for you mostly if you went to register. Because if you live in a quilombo, you are in your own land. Back in the days, 500 years ago, it was like Canada and the Netherlands. That's why you got the United States, because all those states were considered to be on like a country, a real country. That's why they had to create the federal system. Like, hey, we all need to, all this country is better to come together, just like you have 54 countries now in Africa. That's what they had back then. Where I live was our country. That's why if a Maroon, so-called runaway, would come into the jungle, we would bring them back because we had a treaty. We didn't know if it was a soldier of the army acting like they escaping, and then they would signal the colonizer to come and get you and place you in slavery, even if you was not in slavery. That's the runaway story. Even if you was in slavery or not, you was a runaway. You're supposed to be a slave. That's why even if, see it like this, even today, they still call black people Abid, right? In Egypt and those places, Israel, they still call them Abid, even if they are in slavery or not. Because to the colonizer, in their mind, you're supposed to be their slave. That's why they say that. Even if you didn't run away, you was in the jungle, you was a runaway slave. You was designated to be a runaway slave. They didn't care. Because we had our own system, like another country. Just like you have Iran and North Korea don't care about these guys in the West. That's how we lived over there 500 years back then. You trespass, you gone. That was the life. This life, these fakers coming bringing here, and man, we don't roast. We have no time to play no games, man. Our life is too serious. The damage has been too great for a young puppy who is 60 years old like Tariq Nasheed to come out here acting like a small child, like they portray you in the movies. Tariq Nasheed, you acting like they portrayed you in all the movies and spread it globally, and you say we influence everybody. What influence? For guys to go out and smoke joints and kill each other off. That's your influence. Saggy pants. Do these guys play jazz or blues? No. Do they play boogie woogie? No. Do they play mento? No. They play drill rap and yeah. Just saying. Let's hear it, man.
Thousands of quilombos spread across Brazil. There are more than 40 just in the state of Sao Paulo. Because in spite of those brutal, centuries-long conditions, some enslaved Africans escaped and built entire independent towns tucked deep into Brazil's forests and mountains where they could finally live free. And those settlements are called quilombos. There are more than 40 just in the state of Sao Paulo, and the quilombo history is part of the region's newest Afro-tourism guide, so you know I had to pull up to one. And these weren't just hideaway spots out in the cut. Back in the day, these were thriving communities with farmland, trade routes, spiritual practices, and full military systems. At their peak, there were thousands of quilombos spread across Brazil. The most famous one, Palmares, became legendary. It had thousands of residents, its own ruler, and fought off the Portuguese trying to destroy it. The most iconic...
You hear the name? Mare. Yeah, Mare, Palmare. Next to most of these things, you already saw it. You see water, where most Maroons live, you will see water and boats. Because they will use the water to do everything. Let's hear it, man.
There was Zumbi dos Palmares, who became a legendary. It had thousands of residents, its own ruler, and fought off the Portuguese trying to destroy it. The most iconic figure was Zumbi dos Palmares, who became a national symbol of resistance for Afro-Brazilians. He helped turn the Quilombo into a free black nation operating inside of a slave empire. Come on, Black Excellence! And these communities...
What did I say? We are autonomous. Within the slave system, when you were in slavery and Africa was colonized, we were autonomous. We had no contact with anyone because we lived, like I said, at least 10 hours away from the plantation. You had to, if you wanted to start a village, you had to be at least 10 hours away from the plantation. And even then, after you started, just like she just said, they would wait for a while and like to get you to like this, get you to sleep and forget a bit about the war, and then attack you suddenly with those Redimusus and bounty hunters, black hunters. Yeah, let's hear it, man.
Still exist. Their descendants live all across Quilombo into a free black nation operating inside of a slave empire. Come on, Black Excellence! And these communities still exist. Their descendants live all across Brazil. But survival hasn't been easy.
You see what I mean? They are now mixing up because it's now like 2, 3. Many of these places are free since like 200-300 years ago. Many of these people were not in slavery. They were born in the jungle, living life. And yeah, that's bush meat. Every meat comes from the bush or from the ocean. I don't know where you get your meat from, Tariq Nasheed. Like it's a shameful thing while you was eating chitlins. Piggy belly. Just imagine that. A Negro in slavery eating piggy belly in the house with massa. Massa, be sick, massa. Yeah, I'ma take care of those new nigger, massa. That's Tariq Nasheed. I'ma take care of those Africans and Jamaicans, man. Cause you a hater. Cause in the beginning you were saying the Jamaicans were taking all the women, and the Haitians were doing cheap labor, and the Africans were too smart. They were on the university, and you was saying they think they smart, man. And then when you was in a debate, you would use those same Africans and Nigerians to say how black people are smart. Just like you using the Maroon movie, the most of Europe and the Haitian Revolution, and then attack those people. You are a devil. You have no culture, boy. If you knew what culture was, you would understand. Your reaction and your response, even, yeah. The more you speak, the more I know, yeah, man. You and your race, you people over there, you finish those so-called and fake black Americans. Yeah, cause that's what you is, nigga, a fake black American. Yeah, cause those black Indians are Negritos are in Mexico. Mestizo, all those people. Ask your Luis Farrakhan. Let him tell you. If you are, yeah, let's leave it at that.
The government technically granted land rights back in 1988, but most communities are still waiting for the. It hasn't been easy. The government technically granted land rights back in 1988, but most communities are still waiting for the paperwork to catch up. I was told some of them are still fighting off attempts to erase their claims, everything from delayed titles to falsified documents. For example, Quilombo Cafundo is an Angolan descendant community, rich with history, sitting on more than 500 acres, where they're the only people in the world who speak the Kupopia language, which was originally created as a secret code so enslavers couldn't understand them. But only about one.
You see what I said? Those dances were to speak to each other. The drums my people play, but it's not just playing drums just like you playing your jazz. No, they are speaking literally, just like I'm speaking right now. These people are, yeah, let's keep this one. Let's keep this one easy running. Alright, I'm gonna move to the next movie, man.
I have a black sister.
Oh yeah,
It's
this
more
is
like,
a part of a debate between ZANU and this Anderson. Let's hear it, man. And this Anderson said his father is FBI. But they denying that this FBI is FBI. Foundational Black Intelligence. That's what it is. Foundational Black Intelligence. Foundational Black Agency. Alright, let's hear it, man.
heard what they said. Oh yeah. And all I'm saying is, I am talking about us, and I'm saying, if all the things you're mentioning happening, wouldn't that be enough reason for you to
You've
say?
been here for 40 years, you said?
34.
Okay, before then, what was your understanding of foundational Black Americans at that point? Have you heard about us even when you were wherever you were from?
Well, you must understand.
No, because many of those people were in the jungle. These people have no brain. My people we don't know no MTV. I know about MTV when I came to the Netherlands when I was 12, because I was born with a Dutch passport, Dutch nationality in the jungle in Suriname. So they told me you have to leave the country. They sent me to the Netherlands. Over here, I saw that in 1991, I saw this hip hop thing. We had hip hop music, but it was more bubbling, toasting. Because toasting was already around in the 50s, 60s. They were toasting on Jamaica. Well, let's hear it, man. So you hear these people think because they were on MTV, it's an advertisement. Do you see them placing, just like I said, placing African music or reggae music on television? No, because they don't want people to think like Africans or like the Rastaman. They want them to think like you. Smash and grab. Go to jail so they can make money. These niggas don't know that when you go to jail, the government gets money. Even here in the Netherlands, many of these niggas don't know that when they go out here and do stupid stuff, the government, they get money for taking care of you in jail. Even when you come out, they have to give you a place to stay, parole, all those stuff. They getting money for it. Up to 5,000 a month. Yeah. Many of these people, when you get out of jail here in the Netherlands, they have to fix your stuff. They get like 5,000 a month to do it for you. That's what many people don't know, is the same like selling you over and over again, letting you go to jail, you come out, they get 5,000 a month again to resocialize you. I'm gonna resocialize you, man. Yeah, okay. And then they will sign a contract with you for maybe 2 years or 3 years to fix all your stuff back to reintegrate into society. And they will get 5,000 a month. Sometimes more. Depend on your situation. And these niggas think, yeah, man, yeah, let's leave it at that, man. it's a bit off track.
That when we began to know about African Americans, they were called colored people. And then from colored, it became Negro. And then after Negro,
What did I say? A Negro was a colored man, a mixed people. That's what we know. In the jungle, also in South America, we know that you had Africans and those and the Negroes. A Negro was broken. Broken is not always means, it didn't always mean like Bob broken, like only that. No, if you are mixed, you are broken. You are a part of everybody a bit. You are mixed. That is also in Suriname they would say broko broko, broken. You see, broko broko. Broke, like exchange, like you exchange your paper money for some change. The change, you see, you change from the African, you change to a Negro. That's why I told you that in America, a Negro was somebody who went to slavery and was changed into mixed people, or they lost their culture. Nobody knew where they came from. They had no culture. Everything of theirs was erased. They were not allowed to read, they were not allowed to have no culture, but to go to the church and work on the field or in the house. That was their life. In those days, all those 500 years, I was in the jungle, living a normal life just like today. I can show you video where my people are building and everything, boats, making gari, middle in the jungle, just like those Native American tribes. That's why they have no understanding about freedom. They think freedom is going out there, get rich or die trying. Nah, man. Let's leave it at that. It's too deep for many of you niggas out there. Man. Let's hear it.
Afro-American. So we in high school, if you had come to Africa, we call it Afro-American. And then from there became Black American. And then from there became African Americans. And now I'm hearing the new terminology, which is foundational Black Americans. I don't understand it. I don't know where it came from. So if I knew about African Americans, yes, my name was Superfly. We all have to choose an African name, African American name, because we watch Coolie High, you know.
You see, it was an advertisement. It's now hip. That's why you have hip hop. It was a hype. Yeah. In Dutch they say that is hip. That guy hip is cool, means cool in Dutch. What the Americans say, man, that nigga is cool, man. Over here in the Netherlands they will say, hey, that nigga is hip. It's a hype. That's why you have the term hype. In the mode, it's the trend. It's trending. And Black Americans were trending in those days on television everywhere. That's why the youth would copy it. And now if you go into Africa, you see the same behavior like in the ghetto. That is what Frank ZANU was saying. What you niggas did, you did not go back to Africans' way, like, hey, I need to find the Lord, or I need to learn about my culture. No, you accepted your defeat, and that's why you are now begging for reparation. I want nothing from these people, because we had a treaty, and my God will take care of it if anything needs to be done. That's how we work. You see my name there, NDYALE. After my people, after slavery, if you wanted to take the airplane even to come to the Netherlands, you had to go to the city and they would change your name like in Djalis, because they cannot say NDYALE, because NDYALE there is a Ghanaian name. NDYALE. You see? Already, yeah, let's leave it at that. Let's listen to what Frank ZANU is saying. Is real. Is like you would go to a Rambo movie and then come out and then say, I am Rambo, man. That's the same like with hip-hop. It's an advertisement. It's like going to the Kung Fu movie. These niggas went to Kung Fu movie and they started the rap group Wu-Tang Clan. It's the same thing. So the Chinese can come out and say, man, we started the Wu-Tang style hip-hop, man, because we gave those niggas inspiration. We inspired those guys from Wu-Tang Clan like Method Man and Redman, and Old Dirty Bastard. We inspired them to go out there and call themselves Wu-Tang Clan. So we have a claim on hip-hop. You see? Nigga, and the African, like ZANU, if I was ZANU there, I would tell you, nigga, the drum you're using for your hip-hop is no longer allowed to be used by you black Americans because you're not Africans. We invented the drum because we were the first created according to your science in your university. So the drum that was created by us, you're not allowed to use it. The stick that you're playing your jazz with and your blues, you're not allowed to use it because it comes from the jungle. It's mine, nigga. Everything you're using to make your telephone and your laptop comes from Congo. In the Second World War, the bauxite that built the airplanes for the United States and their allies came from Suriname and Brazil. It was called Billiton. Nigga, these people are beyond stupid. These niggas, when these niggas speak, it's like I hear a two-year-old speaking, blah blah blah, and they want to take that and be proud of it. That's why Obama said they are proud of their own stupidity. It's like that nigga I saw. His name is Sanchez. His wife is a Vietnamese, and his children are Vietnamese mixed black. But he hates immigrants. What? How stupid can you be? And he's from the U.S. Army. Like most of those guys. Let's hear it, man. Let's hear it. So these guys have in their mind that everybody knows them. No, nigga, we were watching movie and children will copy movies. Just like I said with Kung Fu movies. Y'all niggas over there in the ghetto used to copy those Kung Fu movies. That's why you came up with Wu-Tang Clan. Oh baby, I like your coal. Oh baby, I like your coal. Oh baby, busy, body. Yeah. You even used this Wu-Tang Clan even used to sample the Chinese movie. Allow me to demonstrate the special skill of Shaolin, the special skill of shadow boxing, or something like that is in the movie. Remember that? It comes from Chinese movie because it was an advertisement for the Chinese culture. And people started to see Kung Fu. But there was Pencak Silat in Indonesia. Even the Kung Fu comes from India or something, or from Africa. Because Africans also got the style fighting with sticks and whatever. Africa got like 2,000 or 2,500 tribes. Bloodlines, I should say, nations. That's a real United Nations. They all have their own gods and own culture. There is one supreme god, but all those other gods, in your culture it would be. Let me not say your culture because it is plantation culture, man. Let's leave it at that. It's like jumping the broom. Let's hear it, man.
Mockton and all these things, we knew the names have changed just as the style, the lifestyles have changed also. So yes, of course, we read it in high school. We knew about.
But what was the gist of what? Because my whole point of bringing this up is, the media and the world of the power of America. Let's just like you mentioned those movies. Those movies depicted, black people in a certain way, but we're ignoring the fact that
Exactly. And right now, that's the way FBA behaves. Like you are being portrayed in the movies. That's what you're doing, stealing everybody's stuff. Smash and grab. I'm the Maroon. I am the most of Europe. I did the Haitian Revolution. We are the greatest nations of black people on the nation. When you were raped and was in prison, you are still being imprisoned, you was hanged, all these things happened to you. You lost your culture. I didn't lose my culture, man. So you're lying. Which one is true? Yeah, our culture is no progressive. Culture is not something that's made up. It's real. Just like the sun you see in the sky. That's what you don't understand. The way they view culture. If we view culture different than you do, then we're not the same race. That's what you don't understand. If you view culture differently than I do, that means we are not the same race. Your view of life is different than mine. I'm not gonna go out there and smash and grab. In my culture, those things are forbidden because we have God. You don't understand those things. You don't understand the repercussion when I say our God is real. It's not made up symbolic. I am gonna put up a cross, man, and or an ankh, man. No, it doesn't work like that. No, I'm gonna say Shango. I'm gonna throw this libation, and all those things is foolishness. People don't have time to tell you maybe, but Africa was also colonized after slavery. So many of those cultural things also got lost with many tribes in Africa who was also taken into the Muslim slavery over there. The Arabian slavery or whatever slavery, the Sahara slavery or whatever name they gave that one. Yeah, many things of the Africans is also lost because they had to fight this Caucasian off for 150, 200 years. After slavery in the 1800s, after they said slavery was abolished, they went to Africa and started all over again. Those countries in Africa are maybe free for 40 years, 50 years, or maybe 70 years. They're just starting all over again from where they began million years ago. Nigga, let's hear it, man. So this is foolery, man. But let's hear it.
Black people are foundational Black Americans are being pictured as criminals, your enemy. Everything anger, everything evil, everything is boiled in. So when you guys hear that from wherever you're from, you come here
You know what is funny?
and have that same
No,
that same.
you know what is funny? I'll tell you this. In Africa, New York has many Africans. Ask any African who is over 50 years old or 60 years old to name one negative thing we heard back in Africa about African Americans. Zero.
So
Zero.
where does that
Exactly. In Suriname, my grandfather used to tell us when you see a Negro run away after slavery, all those things became because there was a treaty. My people were, and the treaty was signed with blood. That's how real our treaty is. Our treaty is signed with blood. Just like you would cut yourself, chop with a knife, and then put those blood together and then sign the treaty. That's how our treaty is signed. I got it here on video even. I've shown it already in other videos. You see? This guy is like, yeah, man, they portray us to be like this or that, but that's the way you still behave today on YouTube when you go and smash and grab. They have eyes to see it, and what's happening is England people see these Black Americans on television and start to copy it. The Africans everywhere, because they see the same skin color, and those children start acting like what they see on television, like what they see today on internet. It's the same thing. It's an advertisement. That's why many things on YouTube they will tell you, no, it's not allowed to smoke in the live stream or to drink and a liquor in the live stream, because children might see it and copy it. That's why when I come out sometimes and cuss people, I place the video on 18 years and those things. Yeah, it's for those things. That's why culture is the way you behave. Your culture will let people know why you behave like that. Just like you see the Muslim woman with the hijabi or whatever. Because it's their culture. That's why I told you culture is your God. If you have no God, you have no culture. A Christian can come out and say, my culture is Christianity, because they living their life is like according to the Bible. If they're not living according to the Bible, they are liars, they are devil, who are misusing a culture just like Trump is doing, for example. I'm a Christian nationalist. How can you be a Christian and you bombing people in boats, small boats, without court order? Trump even said Venezuela stole their oil and everything and land and need to give it back. What? Trump is from Ireland, from 100 years ago. And he says he's a Christian. Would Christ go and take Indian land, Native American land, and making up lies, bombing people innocently? No, it's righteousness. That's why you have the courts. It's supposed to be righteous. If you're guilty, then you're guilty. You get punishment. If you're innocent, they're supposed to leave you alone. Nigga? Is Trump leaving those people alone? No, because in his last term, he was already trying to get another guy there in Venezuela because of oil. He stated it in a video long time ago. Yeah, if I was president, I would go into Iraq and take all the oil, not just go in there and fight and then come out with nothing. No, we need to take the oil anywhere we go in war. He said it. Maybe you didn't have the ear to hear and the eyes to see. ZANU is gonna tell you in a part of this video, I think, like, we see the same behavior in Africa, we see it here, but where ZANU maybe didn't see it, make the link is that those guys in Africa, they saw it on television, on MTV. Before you had your MTV rest, back in the days, hip-hop was about like blues message, like real message about hard life. Because the hip-hop came about because black people in America, all them, Caribbean, Africans, whatever you were in Puerto Rico, they were not allowed into the club. I know that because in the Netherlands in the 90s, it was the same way. If you would come to the club, they would say, no, only special guests, man. And they would be there like maybe 4 or 5 bouncers, and the cops would be over there with their car. If you was denied entrance, you're supposed to leave. And these niggas, they came about with, hey man, let's do it like this Jamaican, because on Jamaica, they had those block parties with these sound systems. Your block party is a sound system from Jamaica. Yeah, here in the Netherlands, they call it street party in Amsterdam. Go in, where's that place? Belmer. Go here to Belmer, where they have Kwaku Festival. Over there, they doing the same behavior like you doing there in America, because they seeing it on internet and on television from MTV back then. It was an advertisement to break the broken Negro, put the broken Negro on television, so everybody who would copy that style would become broken and go to jail, one way or the other. Nigga, let's hear it, man.
We had African people on the show say that their parents gave them the talk when they came over here, stay away from those black Americans. They're just going to get you pregnant. They drugged it. So where did that white supremacist talking point about black Americans come from with Africans and even some Caribbeans?
Yeah.
Is that white supremacist talking point? Are you not smashing and grabbing stuff? Are you not killing each other with the Bloods and the Crips? So they supposed to leave Africa, come to the United States and buy weapons and start coming into the Bloods and the Crips like you niggas doing. They have to partake in the stupidity. You only partake in stupidity when you have no God, you have no guidance, you have no foundation. That's why your foundational black American is ridiculous. Based on what? Your foundation is slavery. Your foundation is not being able to read for 400 years. Your foundation is being hanged from the tree and being burned alive, and that's your foundation. Jim Crow. That's why you mad everywhere, thinking everybody have to be mad just like you. No man, my foundation is different. I was free in the jungle, eating free meal, a normal life. Because we have God. Nigga, everything I'm stating in my videos is real to the core, nigga.
So, you have social media, right?
Before social media.
No. I'm talking about, listen.
You're talking about today. This has been going on for centuries.
No, you asked me about what we knew about African Americans.
Yeah.
Back in the, and I'm telling you, we never knew one negative thing about African Americans. Never. Now, let me make it clear so you can understand. Start from 1957, when W.E.B. Du Bois moved to Ghana. Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Maya Angelou moved and lived there for 14 years. Ghana became, or West Africa became the Mecca for African Americans. Not one has any bad message when they come back here. So we were only knowing things and we were copying your style. You made dashiki become even attractive to us to wear it. Platform shoes and all that. We followed today, any barber shop in Africa, you don't see any African. It is all, Ice-T and all these people. Only when we are...
Exactly, because they were in the movies. Were there Africa still today? Do you see Nollywood movies in Hollywood? No. Do you see Bollywood movies of India in Hollywood on the big screen? No. But in India, they know those people, right? Because India got almost 2 billion people. They know those people, right? In Bollywood. Just like they know those African and actors in Nollywood. But they are not on MTV or TMC or those places. They are being kept behind, just like reggae music or soukous music or rumba or merengue. Those music are real music. Real guitarists and let's leave it at that, man. Go listen to Brazilian jazz. What they did to the jazz you playing there, because the Portuguese and the English people, they are all from Europe. That's why you also got that Brazilian jazz they playing over there, just like you got your jazz there in North America. Hey, let's see.
Here. Then we see it for ourselves what we see.
So you
became the Mecca for African Americans. Not one has any bad message when W.E.B. Du Bois moved to Ghana. Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Maya Angelou moved and lived there for 14 years. Ghana became, or West Africa became the Mecca for African Americans. Not one has any bad message when they come back here. So we were only knowing things and we were copying your style. You made dashiki become even attractive to us to wear it. You know, platform shoes and all that. We followed today, any barber shop in Africa, you don't see any African. It is all, you know, Ice-T and all these people. Only when we arrived here, then we see it for ourselves what we see.
So you follow the white supremacist mindset when you guys got here. That's what I'm hearing.
What is that?
Because I mean, the hatred that's put upon.
And he's saying the hatred. Let me see here if I got the Tariq Nasheed video here, man, about the hatred. Because it says prove all things. Let me see if I got it. Because I heard one yesterday, blah blah blah. How do I got it, man? Let's see if I got it now. Just a minute. And then we can see the hatred he's speaking about. I can't find it this quick, I think. I'm gonna leave it for next time. I got this movie of Tariq Nasheed, our movie, a video. But I'm gonna leave it for now, man. I was gonna show you Tariq Nasheed channel from beginning to end, the thumbnails he's using. Saying that the immigrants needs to leave, cussing out Jamaicans, try to ridicule Africans and all those stuff. But you want money off the back of the Africans who were enslaved? You are devil. Only if you have no culture you can understand those things. Stealing a Haitian revolution movie, making money off it, and then attack Haitians. Making money of Maroon movie from Accompong, Jamaica, all those places, and then cuss out Jamaicans. Making most of Europe and then attack the UK black people over there. Yeah, pitiful nigga. Everybody with the BLM stuff is because everybody used to pity you niggas because they used to hang you and treat you like. Go and look all those movies of even from Burkina Faso where Traore was saying, I see how they treat the black Americans, man. They can come back home. That's why they were saying that, because the way we saw that you were being treated. But since you like it, that's why you're saying everybody needs to leave, all the immigrants needs to go, because you like it there with your master. That's what we understand. So this fake white supremacist talking point can only come from you because you were on the plantation with the Caucasian, the colonizer, for 400 years. We don't know their talking point. I come from the jungle. Or do you mean I'm so superhuman being that I know their style, nigga? Somebody is gonna come from the village, come to America, see other black people there and know what MTV is because they had everything over there, but you said they living in tree. If those people in Africa living in trees, do they have a television to see what you're doing? This is how stupid these niggas are, man. That's serious.
Or frowned upon, Black Americans.
By who? What? No, by Africans?
Africans.
Oh,
people
okay.
of Caribbean. My father's Jamaican.
Oh, no,
I hear it in that household too, brother.
Yes.
You hear that? Your father is Jamaican. Why don't you then speak about your other half racist family? What other side do you have? They are more than hard. These people are stupid. So that's what I was saying already. These niggas want you to come and smash and grab together with them. Go to jail together. Yeah, man, that nigga is down, man. Yeah, man, he's holding it down. Seen this nigga, and yeah, man, he's getting busy with it. Oh, nigga, don't live that life, nigga. We have culture. That's why they said you have no culture, nigga. These people are beyond stupid, man, and they think that they smart cause they think like they were together with the white man, so called, cause white means wise, to have wisdom. It's a status, man. Anyways, you was together with them on the plantation, and now you think, yeah, man, I'm at least half as smart as they are, cause those niggas over there, they living in the trees, but they supposed to have seen you on MTV, you influencing the world like you said. They are copying us, man, but they living in trees. Do they have internet in trees now in Africa? That's how stupid these niggas is. It's the hatred. When you have those kind of hatred, you become stupid. Let's hear it, man.
So I know there's not coming over here and then saying, embracing, hey, I got a black brother, I have a black sister.
Yeah.
It's more like, oh, I heard what they said. Oh, yeah. And I agree with them.
Yes.
Y'all some niggas over there.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
that's the problem.
In one of my episodes, I ended it by saying, I talk about how we started worshiping African Americans when we were in Africa. All my classmates, you are not going to have a name. You pick one of the movie names. I knew about Isaac Hayes, the Black Moses. I met him when I came here. It's like a legend standing in front of me, okay? So we copied African Americans before we came here. I ended the episode by saying, when we got...
And how did they copy it? Because it was an advertisement on television, MTV. You see? Hard rock was on television in those days, and Black Americans, Bill Cosby. Those are the things that were on television. Even Black English movies were not on television because it was about Guyana and Caribbean, Jamaica, and Nigeria, Ghana. That's why it was not allowed on television. I know this because in Suriname it's the same. If you're not mixed blood in Suriname, you was not allowed to come on television. If you wanted to be in the city, you had to change your name and you change your clothing. You was not allowed to wear maroon clothing in the city in Paramaribo. Those things were only changed in the 1990 or so, or even later. These people know nothing, man. They living in a fucking fantasy. The Africans and the Jamaicans, they live there in Africa in trees, man. Then how were they able to copy you? Did you go to Africa? Never. He's even gonna ask this nigga in this part, I think. Did you ever go to Africa? No. So how did they see you to copy you over there? Unless they saw it in an advertisement. On television, MTV, Bill Cosby. Those things were the things they were seeing over there. Bill Cosby was one of the better things. All the rest was gangster movies. Ice-T and what's their name? New Jack City movie. Those movies. Harlem Nights. And what's that? Coffee. Those were the movies. The same thing happened with Kung Fu movies because in those days Kung Fu movies used to come out also. What did you niggas do over there? Just like I said, you copied the Kung Fu movie and you came up with Wu-Tang Clan. You have no understanding of the world. They use you to destroy all other black youths around the world when they copied your saggy pants and your killer music. Because hip-hop used to be music for enlightenment. Wisdom music, like blues and jazz. That is what this used to be. Even when jazz came, they used to call it the devil's music, remember? Until they could make money off the jazz music. Then it became, even with hip-hop was almost forbidden. Even a black woman was going around in America trying to stop NWA. Remember those days, nigga? I was there. Not over there in New York, but I was here when Osdorp Posse, the first hip-hop group of the Netherlands, is called Osdorp Posse. A bunch of white guys who were listening to your stuff on MTV and the radio Hot 97. and they were translating the lyrics of the Black Americans literally to Dutch. Because it was an advertisement, how to be cool. It was the trend. Hier in de Netherlands zeggen ze, ja man, de trend nu is om te rappen. Hey man, het is nu in de mode om die stilo te zetten man. Hey, drill rap is die Sunny in deze tijd boy. That's how they talk here now. Because it's on the television, that's what they see. If they would see, that's the same thing like I've already stated. If they would see Kung Fu movie, they would copy Kung Fu movie and go outside and say, I am Jackie Chan, I am Bruce Lee, yeah, I am Jet Li. That's called advertisement. That's why you have advertisement even here on YouTube. To sell products. They were selling you again over and over again. Who is selling the hip-hop you said you created and stole from DJ Kool Herc, who happens to be Jamaican? Your slave master is selling the, the hip-hop. And Eminem is god of hip-hop. What did you say when Eminem came out and said, I'm the god of hip-hop? Y'all niggas were agreed with it. But if an African is playing hip-hop in music, I created it. No, nigga, it came from Jamaica, from DJ Kool Herc. He happens to be... Let me see it. I had even one here. How many of your so-called artists are really African and Jamaican? Let's see if I got it here, man. I had a whole list of it. I think... Oh, no, it's not this one. Let me see if I got it here, man. Yeah, I think I've got it. Yeah. So, let's see it. I took it from a comment section on YouTube. See here, all these guys in your business in America are foreigners. You see here, Nipsey Hussle was African, Tiffany Haddish is African, Ruby Rose African, The Weeknd is African, Rihanna is Caribbean, Jim Jones Caribbean. See, OT Genesis is Caribbean, Nicki Minaj Caribbean, Foxy Brown Caribbean, Bobby Shmurda is Caribbean, Notorious B.I.G. Caribbean, Cannibus Caribbean, NLE Chopper Caribbean, Salt and Pepper Caribbean, Fabulous Caribbean, Heavy D Caribbean, Noriega Caribbean. The creator of hip-hop, aka DJ Kool Herc, is Caribbean. Jim Jones is Caribbean and Puerto Rican. And Busta Rhymes is Caribbean. Pete Rock. You see? Caribbean. that's why everybody was like, what you do, what you saying, nigga? Nigga, there was toasting long before you came out with hip hop in 1973. Toasting was already in the 60s, I think, and the 50s. I will check it out because I got many of those old things, man. Maybe I'll check it out. But you see how many of your so-called pride that you have in your museum that you're tethering off? You are the American tether. It's better that you had stayed quiet, boy. You see here? You are the American tether. You're tethering off all these people because they have the skills and talent to do the work. I could say you've been jealous at these people because they made it where you could not make it. They came and defeated you in your own so-called country. Nigga, that's the real talk. Let's hear it.
Here, we stay away from you because we see too much of us in you. So now, here is what I was saying from the beginning. Why don't you ask me why, when you arrive here, you don't unite with us? Then you concluding that you hate us, white supremacy's talking point. Well, our eyes can see things. So ask me, why is it so?
Yeah,
and I will ask you, how many times have you tried to go visit us on the continent?
Oh, well, if my resources was as good as...
you rich than I am.
How?
How?
You're not? Okay.
How?
You're flashy, by the way.
How?
Fine.
What's flash?
It's the leather pants.
Oh,
bro.
it's leather pants. Okay. At $16.99 H&M. Go get you a pair. You know what I'm saying, my brother? Just because I'm stylish don't mean nothing. You know
You're
what I'm saying?
stylish. You're stylish. Look, what I'm trying to say is this. I'm not afraid. I ended the episode by saying,
Yeah.
I loved African Americans. When I was coming here, I'm telling you the truth. My mom, my dad, my people, nobody told me stay away. Do you know my first wife is an African American? She's now the superintendent of schools here.
So when did that change then?
When we arrived here, we saw too much of us in you and we stayed away.
What do you mean by that?
Huh?
What do you
When
mean
you
by
say
that?
too much of us and you,
The
specific.
violence, the meanness, Rwanda, Sierra Leone, Liberia, the killing of each other, the dishonesty, the anger. Look, let me.
Yeah, nigga. These people, that's what I was saying. Like, these niggas go to the favela and see what's going on.
Only when we arrived here, then we see it for ourselves what we see.
So you follow the white supremacist mindset when
Black started going to her.
You see? These racist niggas who are against foreigners fighting for MAGA and Trump wanna take, because I made the video that they are far right, because Tariq Nasheed is the black Fuentes. It's yeah, tether man, it's just a joke. No, you are a racist. Just like your colonizer, nigga. That's how I know you. My father is Jamaican, so what? Nigga? How would he know you if he sleeps in a tree in Africa? Go think about that one. Cause y'all niggas said Africans sleep in tree in Africa. How would they have MTV to see you and know anything about you? What a white supremacist is supposed to be. You're speaking on white supremacy because the white man is supreme to you. Where I come from, he's not. We don't know them as to be supreme because we defeated them, literally, just like I showed you in the beginning of the movie with the Quilombo and Palenque. Go to Jamaica, a Compong. You're a sad bunch, niggas, stupid. You're like bitches out here looking for attention. You've been delineating for 7 years now. I'm delineating. It's like a bitch wakes up and said, I'm leaving you. And you said, okay, let me help you carry your bags. Didn't you hear I said, I'm leaving? Yes, I'm gonna help you carry your bags. Don't you hear? So, you're not mad that I'm leaving? I'm gonna help you carry your bags. That's what we're saying here. Every day these niggas coming out. This African said this, but the Africans, so-called, and Caribbeans, they supposed to be nothing but you watch them every day what they doing. But you're too busy with your culture. When do you have time to be busy with your culture? When is you niggas gonna bring out the FBA culture movie so we can see it and speak your language and conjure up your god so we can see some action, nigga? That's what we wanna see. Make a FBA documentary where you expose yourself to the world like this is our real language, because we never lost our culture, man. We are the real Maroons and the Moors and the Egyptian with descendants. Yeah.
So on the continent, the same thing you say here. Oh, you started business in Nigeria, your own on the continent.
Oh, well, if my resources was as good as
Resources, you read. Only when we arrived here, then we see it for ourselves what we see.
so you follow the white supremacist mindset when you guys got here. That's what I'm hearing.
What is that?
But
You mean being happy that foreigners are being kicked out of America? These people are being kicked out of America as I speak. Didn't you see what Trump said yesterday, all the countries that he named, and you are supporting Trump with it? You racist jack off. This is a real devil is speaking right now. These people are devils, man. They have no culture. Really, they don't. It's a cursed bunch.
because I mean the hatred that's put upon or frowned upon, Black Americans.
By who? What? No.
These niggas throw stones and then hide their hands. Just like Tariq Nasheed went around stealing everything and then he told these people that we wanna steal their reparation. Did you get the reparation yet? That you wanna get off of the back of enslaved Africans. But you are American? You're not African, nigga, you're American. You're not African from America. That's my people. We live in the jungle. Just like I showed you the Quilombo. That's where the term African from America comes from. It's from the Quilombo in Brazil, Palenque, and the Maroons, my people over there. In 1980, this crazy came over there. What is his name? Jesse Jackson. And took the name. I am somebody. I am somebody. I am somebody. We are the African American now. Even now with Afro beats, only Africans can be Afro. Because they are the only one on the planet with Afro. Maybe you're too stupid to know these things. Give the Afro back. Straight out your hair and name yourself American. Nobody cares, nigga. We have no time for your buck broken ass. These are bitches out here looking for attention, man. Looking for attention. Because they got nothing going on, nothing. But waiting for the white man, so-called, and Caucasian handout. Because they can't save themselves. We are the richest black people on the planet. What have you done with it? But go to prison. For 150 and 200 years. These are fools.
By Africans?
Yeah.
Africans.
Oh, okay.
People of Caribbean. My father's Jamaican.
Oh, no,
I hear it in that household too, brother.
Yes.
So
I know
there's not coming over here and then saying, embracing, hey, I got a black brother, I have a black sister.
Yeah.
It's more like, oh, I heard what they said.
Of course not, because you are not black. You are a child of the Caucasian enslaver. Your forefathers are Redimusu black hunters. I know them. You are a child to me, nigga. Yeah, we in America, my people, Maroons and city Negroes from the plantation are like Hutus and Tutsis. Just like Ukraine and Russia, Pakistan, India. Yes, it's the real. We were never together. You was on the plantation and I used to come to the plantation and destroy the plantation. That's why slavery was abolished. It's not because of Lincoln. It was because my people was destroying everything. They had to sign the treaty and move back to Europe. If you go to Suriname, there in northern Brazil, you will see that there is almost no white people. They're so-called Caucasian over there. There is mixed Brazilianos and Africans is over there. And French people from Haiti and all those places are over there. Venezuelan people, Cubano. But not very much of the European is over there. Because we won the war. Nigga, that's why they let you out of your cage and called you the freed man. He that was let out of his cage. I am Kang Fi Mang. That is, yeah, let me leave. When I say these things, these niggas think no, these things are from my ancestors from beginning of time, which I have known. You don't know your ancestors. I know mine. That's the difference, nigga. That's why I'm not out here asking for reparation from nobody. Because I know myself. Man, know thyself. Nigga, let's hear it, man.
Oh, yeah, and I agree with that.
Yes.
Y'all some niggas over there.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
that's the problem.
In one of my episodes, I ended it by saying, I talk about how we started worshiping African Americans when we were in Africa. All my classmates, you are not going to have a name. You pick one of the movie names. I knew about Isaac Hayes, the Black Moses. I met him when I came here on the continent.
Oh, well, if my resources was as good
Resources, you rich than I am.
How?
Ask me why, when you arrive here, you don't unite with us. Then you concluding that you hate us white supremacy's talking point. Well, our eyes can see things. So ask me, why is it so?
Yeah,
I mean, and I will ask you, how many times have you tried to go visit us on the continent?
Oh, well, if my
Exactly, nigga. Yeah. The richest niggas on the
my
planet.
resources was as good
Resources, you rich than I am.
How?
You're not? Okay.
How?
You're flashy, by the way.
How?
Fine.
What's flash? It's the leather pants.
Oh,
It's
it's
the leather
okay,
pants.
okay. At $16.99 H&M, go get you a pair. You know what I'm saying, my brother? You know, just because I'm stylish don't mean nothing. You know
You're
what I'm saying?
stylish. You're stylish. Look, what I'm trying to say is this. I'm not afraid. I ended the episode by saying, I loved African Americans. When I was coming here, I'm telling you the truth. My mom, my dad, my people, nobody told me stay away. Do you know my first wife is an African American? She's now the superintendent of schools here.
So when did that change then?
When we arrived here, we saw too much of us in you and we stayed away.
What do you mean by that?
Huh?
What do you
When
mean
you
by
say
that?
too much of us and you,
The
specific.
violence, the meanness, Rwanda, Sierra Leone, Liberia, the killing of each other, the dishonesty, the anger. Look, let me tell you, if I go home, this guy you see here, I'll live like Michael Jackson. I have money to live like a king in Africa. Why do you think I'm still here? The snow? or the taxes? Because I don't want to go back and take what I see here.
So
Don't you say it yourself? Come on. Don't you say it all the time? African Americans are a crap in a bucket. They don't support each other's business. They don't come together to do. So why are you blaming that on me? You've said it.
Exactly. They want you to be like them and become nothing. Go to jail together. Let's go smash and grab, man. Yeah, let's rob that nigga. Yeah, I'ma take that nigga shoes, man. Yeah, I'ma show that nigga. That's your culture. If you wanna have a culture. That's what you have spread around the world. Saggy pants and killing every black people off. So-called. This is stupid.
FBA, but I call myself Adolf. That,
this is Diners that I'm a player part of what he's doing. This is search for Uhuru. I'm a player part and then leave it at this, man. I was just gonna review the part just went by about ZANU. But anyways, let's hear it. Because that part is really stupid. You can see. Yeah, let's leave it.
that didn't sell us off. Which one? Which one?
You see, there are institutions in place for you to get your money, but you need people on your side. You need countries, sovereign countries. So with Africa alone, they have all the South American countries on their side. They have some of their other friends all over the world that can represent them.
And which of those African countries? Are you talking about the African countries that sold us off, or the African countries that that didn't sell us off? Which one? Which ones?
You see what I was saying in all those other videos? That is the City Negro standpoint. Yeah, I'm not African. They sold my people, man. You killed the people in America. You was fighting against my people. Yeah? Don't hide it. Because that's why I showed you the Quilombo in the beginning. The people who was fighting against the people in the Quilombo was black soldiers from the army. Like Tariq Nasheed. Yeah? Many of them, to get their freedom, they supposed to come and decapitate an Indian Native Americans in the jungle who was not together with the colonizer, or Africans who were not together with the colonizer, to get them there and get them in the plantation. That's what I know, not what I think or what the enemy has written for you and you reading it over there. How can the enemy come out here and write something for you 400 years on the plantation and you want to approach me with it? Are you sick? He created your problem. Go to him. Nigga? That's the crazy stuff with these niggas. Those people who heard these niggas, they are running away. This is like somebody slapped these niggas and they turn around and they attacking somebody else. That's cowardice move, nigga. Because you know if you attack those who are slapping you, you're gonna go to your grave. You are a coward. Yeah, that's the way it is, nigga. That's the real.
You are ignorant. No African country sold you off. That statement is idiotic.
Look it up. That's the history. That's the history of how we got.
There was no modern African country that was around during the slave trade. That's idiotic.
Well, it didn't exist, but those are the current names of those places.
Those are tribes. Let me kill this, man.
Yeah, but they came from those countries, the Ivory Coast.
They didn't come from those countries. They're modern concepts.
But let me tell you this, right? Those who.
But how come our DNA goes to those specific countries when we take the DNA test?
Bro, y'all be idiots, man. I'm sorry, bro.
Specific tribes of those countries, bro. Am I speaking to myself?
Y'all NBA people be idiots, man.
I don't subscribe to FBA, but I call myself Adolf. But go ahead.
There was no such thing as a
Nigga, FBA and ADOS are the same, man. They are the same, nigga.
Hey, guys, I gotta read these super chats. Detail, thank you for $2 holla. You have to have proof of lineage. Chanel Harry 66376, thank you for $4.99 holla. Some of the men on the panel try to speak for Caribbean people and don't know Caribbean chattel slavery. Pick up a book on Caribbean chattel slavery. PCH Ryan's 1559, thank you for $10 holla. The African.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. There is 100 million people. Oh, they said. Not even what they said in Brazil alone. So these niggas, they have no brain. It's just like what I said, somebody's gonna come out of jail and out of prison and telling the people outside how they should behave and what they should do because he has become smart in prison for being there 400 years, not being allowed to read and being buck broken. And you wanna be like them between their ears. So you must understand that they are sick. Only a sick people would wanna be like you, a victim. And these same niggas will say the slavery he was the worst, and then say we are the strongest, man. Then you are sick. If you were strong, how could your slavery be the worst? Why didn't you free yourself like the Quilomboros there? Or the Palenqueros or the Maroons of Suriname? Don't you see we have our real tribe, just like in Africa Village? You dumb.
Met this AME church, worked out of the Free African Society, FAS, which Richard Allen, Absalom Jones, and other free black established in Philadelphia in 1778. We are African.
And the Caribbean slavery was worse than
ours. Over
ours.
there to Africa, say for instance, if I go over there to Africa right now, right? Do you think they're gonna see me as African or see me as American?
They're gonna see you as American because
Nigga, if I go to Suriname right now, they will say I'm Dutchman, that I'm a European. These people are stupid. They think they mean anything in the scale of things, man. You mean nothing. That's why I'm repeating that there is 100 million black people in Brazil alone. There is 1.4 billion black people, Africans globally. And these niggas want people to talk about them. Nigga, get the fuck on, man. They are sick. That's serious.
yeah, as soon as you have American culture.
Yeah, no, they're gonna say Yankee or
if you bring your ass over here to Chicago right now, if you come over here on Chicago and walk up King Drive right now, I guarantee you they won't see your black ass as a brother. They'll see you as a
Exactly. At least one of them is getting it. If you go to Chicago, they will tell you are the ops. Oh, block, man. Yeah, man. And BD, man. Black disciples, man. Yeah, off that nigga, man. That's your life. You think an African or a Jamaican wants to come there and go live that life? You sick? These niggas, I don't know, man. They are the no, man. They are beyond. They are gone beyond gone.
They'll see you as a lame, somebody, a goofy to rob. So what are you talking about?
That's true. We do better around here in the States.
Exactly. These niggas, what they wanted is for the foreigners, so-called, to be stupid, go hang around them so they could rob them. When they didn't get the chance to do so, they now mad. That's what I'm saying, nigga. You thought you were smart enough to lure those people in, those so-called immigrants, so you could rob them. Just like was portrayed on the television. Because that's how you behave. We've seen it. Smash and grab. Nigga.
Not being within the country. Of course, Chicago, some of that is crime ridden. But my thing is that we
American culture.
Not gonna be there. Okay. Yeah, no, they're gonna say Yankee or
if you bring your ass over here to Chicago right now, if you come over here on Chicago and walk up King Drive right now, I guarantee you they won't see your black ass as a brother. They'll see you as a op. They'll see you as a lame, somebody, a goofy to rob. So what are you talking about?
That's true.
I'm talking about in the context of going to another country, not being within the country. Of course, Chicago, some of that is crime ridden. But my thing is that I'm talking about in terms of countries. If I go over there to certain parts of Africa, they're not going to say brother and sister. Oh, you want
certain areas in your country.
Actually, in some countries they will.
You hear how he said it? He's taking pride in the buck brokenness that he got from the plantation, that he could speak so-called better English than those people. Nigga, your pride comes from the colonizer. So I complain, nigga, because he has made your life better. You are the richest nigga on the planet, you said. So why complain about anything and begging for money? They want to steal our money. Not everybody is like your ancestors who are going around stealing just like you. Because that's where you get it from. Nigga, that's the real talk.
You just missed the return.
I could take you to Ghana and let's do that.
What's the Ghanaian campaign?
I could take you to Ghana. I could take you to Sierra Leone. They'll do that. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
What you mean, sir?
I'm pretty sure there are some countries in Africa where people will
you got
see you
you
as
got
a brother.
direct descendants in Liberia right now. You talking about they not gonna see you as African? Like, this is a complete joke. These FBA
No,
don't
they're
make
not
no
going to see us as African
they don't
because
make
they
no
know that
sense at all. And you
because
said
we
you
were
an
not
8
born over there. I was not born over there, so I don't consider myself African in that context. But in the context of
you said you were ADOS, right? Can you present the docket number that ADOS got on file right now for reparations? Name the lawsuit.
Senegalese President Jonathan Wade. The African Renaissance Monument was built to signal to your dumbass that Africa has its open arms waiting for you to come back, bro. See, it's.
But even Ghana is in Jamaica right now with the army helping the Jamaicans to rebuild after the Hurricane Melissa stuff happened there. So these people think anybody is thinking that they are sick. Nobody is thinking about this nigga until they came and stole the Maroon movie. That's why I started making this movie. But this nigga, even then I left him alone. And then he start attacking people like he means anything. Nobody is thinking about you, nigga. The Ghanaian army is right now in Jamaica helping the Jamaicans. The Otomfo of Ghana, they have now a rest race and airlines from Ghana to Barbados. The Otomfo was there like 3 weeks or a month ago on Barbados and went to Suriname and Brazil, those places. These niggas think they mean anything. We don't know you, but to be maintained entertainment on television, on MTV, that's how we know you. Because you are a product of the plantation, of the system, of the factory. That's why they use you to promote everything negative about black people. They will use a black American, place him on television so he can spread it real quick. That's not culture, nigga, it's entertainment. It's called advertisement. They're selling
I don't
your
want to go
ass.
back to no place that I've never been. I'm not going to a place I've never been. I'm not doing that.
Look, don't go. Nobody's convincing you, brother. Don't go. Nobody's
Hey,
there.
guys, let me read the super
Y'all
chat.
want to get scammed? If y'all want to get scammed or whatever, that's fine. But I'm not going to get scammed. I'm not at a part of no scamming type of BS or bad business right now. But
Y'all got bad character syndrome.
how come y'all don't come down hard on the Somalis that recently said that they don't really classify themselves as black?
I don't get no shit about no Somalis, bro.
Which Somalians claim
but they're part of the continent. They're part of the continent you praise so much.
Which Somali sold you drugs?
They live in Venezuela.
Somali imprisoned you.
Nigga, who cares if do you know what they are allowed to say that even because they are mixed. Even if they were not mixed and they say that, so what? Nobody cares. If you say you are FBA, nobody cares. Better yet, say you are American and be done with it. Nobody cares, nigga. When you come out here attacking people like you're gonna steal people's stuff like Maroon movie 1804 from Haiti and Maurice history, then people is gonna come out and say, hey, scammer, leave our shit alone, nigga. All those unk you have in your fake museum over there, you need to lay it down. All those things of Dr. Francis Creswell's thing was meant for Africans in America, not for you. You are FBA, foundational, buck-broken American. Tariq Nasheed I'm talking to when I stated it. When I'm stating this, man. Let's hear it.
The answer is
no. I didn't know. I'm not talking about them imprisoning me. It's nothing with that. I'm talking about in terms of blackness. When you say that, like, you know, all of them call themselves black. Somalis do not consider themselves black. So
Where are you getting it? Who said everybody on the continent calls themselves black? Y'all be making up these straw man fallacies.
Earlier, y'all said that.
And do you think many mulatto don't consider themselves to be black? Is that your business? They are mixed. They are allowed to say they are black or I'm mulatto, whatever. Even if they want to say they are white, if their mama or their daddy is white, they are allowed to say it. It's their being. It's not your being. It's not your place to come and tell anybody what they're supposed to be. You be you. Yeah. Function like you're supposed to. If you are the light on the car, just shine the light and do your job. The wheel of the car will take care of what wheels do. That's what they want in the world. There is no place for you because you out there you are just a product to sell on television. That's what they've been doing with you, right? Everything you come up with, jazz, hip hop, all those things are being sold by whom? By you? Exactly.
That basically that the Africans over there. They
No, nobody basically said anything like that.
Do everybody in
I said they
America
go
call
by
themselves
tribes
black?
and they go by nationality.
No, but
Or nation.
Somalians are totally
Nigga,
different.
we don't care about them.
Yeah,
Wait,
they're not even.
do everybody in America call themselves black?
If they
Listen, can I get 1 minute? I just came up here. Let me get 1 minute.
Most
Yeah. Go ahead, Taylor. Go
black
ahead, Taylor. No, God. Let Taylor Supreme talk. They're going to close out. Go ahead.
Listen, I really don't want to fight against my FBA brothers. I consider you brothers, right? I'm from Barbados. You call me a tether, right? But the problem I have with you guys is that your history, your historical interpretation is totally wrong. And then you're proud about being ignorant of the history. Because listen, the national borders of the United States have never prevented black immigrants, black people from the Caribbean from coming in and out of this country. I'm talking about go back.
You see, when I said Obama said they are proud of their own stupidity, it's real. These niggas are beyond stupid and dumb, nigga. Nobody wants them around them. If you got brain, you won't want these niggas around you, nigga. These niggas are sick. They live in fucking fantasy like they mean anything. They are big killers, but when the cops is coming, they will run away like the bitch. They are cowards, man.
Revolutionary War. When the British came over to fight against the United States, guess who was fighting alongside those British? Black Caribbean folks, because the Caribbean was largely a part of the Empire of Britain. War of 1812, when they invaded Baltimore, went up that river. It was whatever the name damn river is that goes up to Baltimore. The first troops on the ground were black troops from the Caribbean fighting under the banner of the British, guaranteeing you freedom. In the Civil War, there were black West Indian soldiers who fought and died alongside the 54th Regiment and every other regiment of black soldiers, came down from Canada, came down from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Black mariners from the Caribbean and some from Africa were constantly going in and out of U.S. ports.
But I haven't heard anybody deny that. I haven't heard anybody deny that.
The FBA and ADOS claim.
You see, when I was saying the black people were in the army of the Caucasian, nigga, let's hear it.
It's based on the idea that black Caribbean folks coming here to hurt them are the primary people putting them down, when the history shows the exact opposite. That black people from the Caribbean, Bob Marley, black from Africa, Kwame Nkrumah, even Fela Kuti, are on record as showing nothing but admiration, praise, and love for African-American people and the warmth and generosity of our African-American brothers.
And most black Americans have done the same.
Malcolm X was half Grenadian.
Man, look, brother, please stop trying to appeal to them. It's not gonna be effective, bro. Like they have their mind set up that they're gonna beg for reparations. To let them do it.
True, but it's like Malcolm X was a perfect representative of that. He was half Caribbean.
Like, what are we talking about?
I agree with you, brother. FBA is a they're a MAGA supporting xenophobic group. It's no need to even dialogue with some of these people anymore.
Yeah, that's just a waste of time, man. Let them do them, man.
That's why you guys lose on your talking points, because you always revert to something like that. Most MAGA, most people have never voted for Donald Trump. I don't get you inserting this.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Tariq did defend Donald Trump at times. He did do that.
Brother, hold up. You can't be no Pan-Africanist and no MAGA supporter, brother. That's what I'm saying. Like these things are fundamentally, ideologically, diametrically opposed. That can't exist.
Things like that. So that's my disagreement with him, is that he kind of
Democratic Party is roses either. They suck too.
No, I'm not saying neither. You can't identify with the American power structure and then be a Pan-Africanist. Like
100%.
Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but the host is kind of what you just described, because he supports Trump and he's a Pan-Africanist. Like, so can you explain that?
I mean, that's a fundamental contradiction.
That's another.
Well, I mean, that's what he is. He supports Trump.
I mean, that discussion.
Just like I said, I'm gonna leave it at that, man. Let's see here. Yeah, 90 minutes is enough for this time. I was gonna check more stuff, but I'm gonna leave that for the next lineup, man. So you've seen the foolery.
Check deze story, een fire story. Zo één dat je nooit had gehoord. Check deze story, die scaffa story. Zo één dat nog nooit was verwoord. Hij verkocht Mori, zweet door zijn pori. Maar zij ging er toch wel vandoor. Hij verkocht Mori, hoogstens naar haar glorie. Maar zij gaf daaraan geen gehoor. Hij verkocht Mori, dan schot het Mori. Maar zij ging er lang niet meer voor. Hij verkocht Mori, zweetend door zijn pori. Toen ze ging had hij daarvoor geen woord. Maar chill, want al gas vandoor, er is een andere beeld. Ja, chill, want al gas vandoor, je weet niet wat ze wil. Hey, chill, ja, al gas vandoor, je slinkt die betere pil. Hey, chill, al gas vandoor, er is een andere beeld. Hey, chill, hey, al gas vandoor, je weet niet wat ze wil. Hey, chill, want al gas vandoor, je slikt die betere pil. Leven werd smurrie, voelde zich lully en raakte alleen maar gestoord. Alles was yummy, voelt zich nou dummy door al die shit wat die verloor. Op bed als mummy, midden in juni, midden zomer, maar toch gaat die koers. Door een gully, moet je naar Shirley. Doe maar of je niets hebt gehoord van deze story, een fire story. Zo één dat je nooit had gehoord. Deze story, die scaffa story. Zo één dat nog nooit
Djalis with my Black African Diaspora World News of today. December 18, 2025. From the Netherlands, Europe. Trump tries new trick to push the United States toward war using fentanyl fear. Source: The Young Turks. President Donald Trump has introduced a new executive order in which he claims that fentanyl should be officially classified as a weapon of mass destruction. According to Trump, this designation is meant to address the devastation fentanyl has caused across the United States. However, critics argue that the real purpose of this move is not public health, but creating a legal and political justification for military action against Venezuela without congressional approval. Legal experts and analysts have made it clear that this executive order does not grant the president any new powers. Congress has not authorized military strikes against Venezuela, and simply labeling fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction does not change that reality. The order is symbolic and carries no legal force. While fentanyl has undeniably harmed many American communities, multiple reports confirm that Venezuela has virtually nothing to do with the fentanyl trade in the United States. The primary sources of fentanyl entering the country are China and Mexico. Venezuela is responsible for only a minuscule amount of cocaine trafficking to the United States and has no meaningful role in fentanyl distribution. Trump has claimed that between 200,000 and 300,000 Americans die each year from fentanyl overdoses. This claim is false. According to official data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, fentanyl caused roughly 48,000 deaths in the most recent reporting year. While that number is still tragic, it represents a significant decline of approximately 27% compared to the previous year. It is also important to note that fentanyl is not the only drug contributing to addiction and overdose deaths in the United States. Methamphetamine, which is also trafficked primarily through Mexico, has caused severe addiction and mental health crises nationwide. Yet no one is calling for war with Mexico, highlighting the inconsistency in the argument being made against Venezuela. Since the year 2021, more than 250,000 Americans have died from fentanyl overdoses. This confirms that fentanyl is a serious public health issue. However, it has absolutely no connection to any military conflict involving Venezuela. CNN legal analyst Elie Honig has explained that fentanyl does not meet the legal definition of a weapon of mass destruction. Under federal law, weapons of mass destruction are typically explosive devices, chemical agents, biological weapons, or tools designed for mass casualty attacks. Declaring drugs to be weapons of mass destruction has zero legal impact. Judges, not presidents, determine how the law is applied. Honig compared Trump's claim to declaring a slingshot a firearm, which does not make it legally true. Trump is not the first political figure to attempt this framing. In the year 2022, a bipartisan group of attorneys general urged then-President Joe Biden to classify fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. This demonstrates that the idea is not limited to one political party, but rather reflects a broader failure among political elites. Commentators on the Young Turks pointed out the absurdity of selectively labeling fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction while ignoring other deadly forces in American society. Tens of thousands of Americans die each year due to lack of health insurance. Chronic liver disease caused by alcohol kills over 50,000 people annually. Automobile accidents claim hundreds of thousands of lives over time. Heart disease remains the leading cause of death in the United States, killing hundreds of thousands every year. Yet none of these are treated as national security threats requiring military intervention. The amount of fentanyl entering the United States from Venezuela is effectively zero. Therefore, the number of Americans dying from Venezuelan fentanyl is also zero or near zero. The argument that Venezuela poses a fentanyl-related threat collapses under basic scrutiny. The discussion then turned to what critics call the uniparty, a political system in which both Democrats and Republicans serve powerful donors rather than the public. In the case of Venezuela, oil companies, defense contractors, and foreign policy interests all stand to benefit from regime change. According to the hosts, this explains why both political parties have flirted with the same talking points. The segment also examined Venezuelan opposition figure Maria Corina Machado, who has received international praise despite openly advocating for regime change backed by foreign intervention. She has framed military action as an act of love and a path to peace, a claim critics find deeply contradictory. The hosts questioned how someone can receive a peace prize while promoting war. The report further highlighted statements by Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, who claimed that military actions against Venezuelan fishing boats saved hundreds of millions of American lives. This claim is mathematically impossible, as the total population of the United States is far smaller than that number. Critics described these statements as insulting to the intelligence of voters. The overall conclusion of the segment is clear. Labeling fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction is a recycled propaganda tactic reminiscent of the false claims used to justify the Iraq War. It is designed to manufacture fear, bypass democratic processes, and push the country toward another unnecessary conflict that benefits powerful interests rather than ordinary people. The hosts warn viewers not to fall for what they describe as a classic bait and switch. There is little public support for a regime change war in Venezuela, and the justification being offered does not hold up to facts, law, or logic. My next African world news is Nigeria issues formal apology to Burkina Faso over airspace violation. Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. Nigeria has formally apologized to Burkina Faso following the violation of Burkinabe airspace by a Nigerian military aircraft, an incident that drew condemnation from member states of the Alliance of Sahel States. Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Maitama Tuggar, traveled to Ouagadougou on Wednesday, the 17th of December, 2025, to deliver the official apology. He was received by Burkina Faso's president, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, to whom he conveyed Abuja's regret over the incident. Speaking after the meeting, Tuggar acknowledged that the airspace breach resulted from administrative failures. He stated that irregularities were identified in the flight documentation, particularly regarding authorization to enter Burkinabe airspace. He described the incident as unfortunate and expressed Nigeria's sincere apologies. The Nigerian foreign minister also confirmed that discussions addressed remarks made by a leader of a Nigerian political party who had issued disparaging comments about the incident. Tuggar said those comments stemmed from a misunderstanding of the situation. Carrying a message of solidarity and brotherhood from Nigerian President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, Tuggar praised Burkina Faso's recent progress in its fight against terrorism. He reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to strengthening cooperation with Burkina Faso to improve regional security. Both sides discussed multiple security-related issues, with a particular focus on counterterrorism efforts and the need for closer collaboration to address shared threats across the region. Nigeria also commended what it described as the spirit of brotherhood shown by Burkinabe authorities in their handling of the aircraft's occupants, who remain on Burkinabe territory. The visit appears to have helped ease diplomatic tensions, reinforcing dialogue and cooperation between the two neighboring countries amid broader security challenges in the Sahel. Source: Africa News. Additional source: Joel Cohen. My next news is 50 days on, Jamaica struggles to rebuild after Hurricane Melissa's unprecedented destruction. Jamaica, 50 days after Hurricane Melissa tore through Jamaica, the country continues to face immense challenges as recovery efforts struggle to keep pace with the scale of devastation left behind. According to Dennis Zulu, United Nations resident coordinator for Jamaica, the Bahamas, Bermuda, the Cayman Islands, and the Turks and Caicos Islands, current estimates place total damage and economic losses between $8 billion and $15 billion United States dollars. This represents nearly 1/4 of Jamaica's gross domestic product, marking one of the most severe disasters in the nation's modern history. Communities left exposed. Entire communities remain fully exposed, with at least 120,000 buildings having lost their roofs. The majority of these structures are located in southwestern Jamaica, leaving tens of thousands of families vulnerable to the elements. Hurricane Melissa caused what the United Nations described as prolonged and cascading disruptions to essential services. Western parishes were left without electricity for weeks, severely impacting daily life, healthcare delivery, and economic activity. The education sector has also been deeply affected. Many children remain out of school due to extensive damage to educational facilities. Approximately 450 schools, nearly 2/3 of all institutions nationwide, have reported significant impacts, including roof loss, structural failure, and other serious damage. Unprecedented scale of destruction. The tourism and agriculture sectors, long considered the backbone of Jamaica's economy and major sources of employment, have suffered extensive damage. Thousands of jobs and livelihoods are now at risk, adding further strain to households already struggling to recover. Dennis Zulu emphasized that the scale of destruction has been unprecedented, reversing years of development progress in a country that had been firmly on a positive social and economic trajectory prior to the hurricane. Despite the challenges, the United Nations continues to work closely with the government of Jamaica, national institutions, civil society, and international partners to deliver life-saving assistance to the most vulnerable communities. Immediate recovery priorities. Recovery efforts are currently focused on restoring health services to safe and fully functional operating levels, supporting the education sector as schools prepare to reopen, and assisting communities that still lack access to essential services. Additional priorities include repairing and reconstructing homes, roads, and critical infrastructure, restoring livelihoods through targeted support for small farmers, fishers, and micro and small enterprises, strengthening the agriculture sector to improve food production and rural employment, and supporting the tourism industry as a key employer and source of foreign exchange. Authorities and international partners have stressed that recovery efforts must be inclusive, climate resilient, and risk-informed to ensure that Jamaica rebuilds stronger and better than before. Source: Caribbean News Global. My next news is: Guyana accelerates financial inclusion and economic empowerment. Source: Caribbean News Global, December 18, 2025. Georgetown, Guyana. In a major step towards modernizing Guyana's financial system, President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali announced that over 600,000 Guyanese are now integrated into the country's formal banking sector. Speaking from the Arthur Chung Conference Center, the president outlined the government's economic and social agenda for the next 5 years. We firmly believe that everyone should have equal access to participate fully in our economy, beginning with the fundamental ability to open a bank account. That is why we drastically simplified the requirements for opening accounts, President Ali stated. These simplified procedures are already operational, and the number of bank accounts has grown by more than 65,000 since 2020. Online banking is now available at 4 commercial local banks, easing access for citizens, including those in the hinterland regions. To further modernize the financial system, President Ali announced the creation of a junior stock exchange. This initiative aligns with the People's Progressive Party/Civic, PPP/C, administration's commitment in its 2025 manifesto to foster a more inclusive financial system that empowers all Guyanese to participate in saving and investment opportunities. The government also unveiled a transformative plan to support small and medium enterprises, SMEs, through the Guyana Development Bank. SMEs will have access to zero collateral loans of up to $10 million. Microbusinesses will be eligible for loans of up to $3 million with zero interest. Through a co-investment mechanism, businesses can access an additional $7 million at preferential interest rates, unlocking total financing of up to $10 million. The SME Development Bank is expected to be fully operational before the end of the first quarter of 2026, with an initial injection of $200 million from the government. Youth, women, and persons living with disabilities will be prioritized in this program. In the past, thousands of young Guyanese would have been denied access to financing for lack of collateral or a business plan. We no longer have to worry about that, President Ali said. To ensure that citizens are prepared to leverage these opportunities, the government will soon appoint a technical team to assist aspiring entrepreneurs in developing sustainable and comprehensive business plans. This will be complemented by mentorship programs and financial literacy initiatives to help Guyanese save for future investments. The president's announcement marks a significant step in transitioning Guyana to a modern, digitally driven economy, with expanded access to banking and investment opportunities for all citizens. My next news is: Government of Dominica seeks clarification from United States on presidential proclamation. Source: Caribbean News Global, December 17, 2025. Roseau, Dominica. The government of the Commonwealth of Dominica has formally written to the President of the United States seeking clarification and urgent dialogue following a presidential proclamation issued on 16 December 2025. The proclamation announced partial restrictions on the entry of Dominican nationals into the United States. Dominica reaffirmed its respect for the sovereign right of the United States to protect its national security and public safety, noting that the country shares those objectives. However, the government expressed concern over the inclusion of Dominica in the proclamation despite the country's extensive cooperation with United States authorities and the implementation of significant reforms to its Citizenship by Investment (CBI) program. Over the past several years, particularly throughout 2024 and 2025, Dominica engaged closely with United States officials through multiple channels. These included the Office of the Prime Minister, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Embassy of Dominica in Washington, District of Columbia, and in coordination with the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank on behalf of Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, member states. These engagements addressed all concerns raised by the United States regarding CBI operations. On 14 October 2025, Dominica became the first OECS member state to enact comprehensive CBI legislative reforms. The reforms included enhanced residency requirements, stricter controls on name changes, strengthened due diligence and background checks, increased financial transparency, and the establishment of an independent regulatory authority to ensure the program operates at the highest international standards. The government emphasized its commitment to maintaining close cooperation with United States authorities and called for urgent dialogue to clarify the proclamation's implications for Dominican nationals and the nation's ongoing efforts in maintaining rigorous international standards. My next news is, United States expands entry restrictions on multiple countries to strengthen national security. Source: WhiteHouse.gov, December 18, 2025. Washington, D.C., President Donald J. Trump signed a presidential proclamation to expand and strengthen entry restrictions on nationals from countries with demonstrated, persistent and severe deficiencies in screening, vetting and information sharing. The move is aimed at protecting the United States from national security and public safety threats. The proclamation maintains full restrictions on nationals from the original 12 high-risk countries identified under Proclamation 10949. Afghanistan, Burma, Chad, Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. In addition, full restrictions have been imposed on 5 new countries based on recent assessments: Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, South Sudan, and Syria. Individuals holding Palestinian Authority-issued travel documents are also now subject to full entry restrictions. Full restrictions have been applied to 2 countries that were previously under partial restrictions: Laos and Sierra Leone. The proclamation continues partial restrictions for nationals from 4 of the original high-risk countries: Burundi, Cuba, Togo, and Venezuela. Turkmenistan, which has engaged productively with the United States and made significant progress, now has its non-immigrant visa restrictions lifted, though immigrant entry remains suspended. The proclamation introduces partial restrictions on 15 additional countries: Angola, Antigua and Barbuda, Benin, Côte d'Ivoire, Dominica, Gabon, the Gambia, Malawi, Mauritania, Nigeria, Senegal, Tanzania, Tonga, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Exceptions apply for lawful permanent residents, certain visa categories, and cases that serve U.S. national interests. Rationale for restrictions: the proclamation targets countries where insufficient vetting, lack of reliable civil documents, and weak law enforcement coordination create risks for U.S. national security. Many of the restricted nations experience widespread corruption, unreliable civil documentation, and high visa overstay rates. Some permit citizenship by investment schemes that bypass screening requirements, while others have unstable governance or active terrorist presence. Full suspension justifications: selected countries: Burkina Faso, high terrorist activity, B1/B2 visa overstay rate of 9.16%, F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 22.95%. Refusal to repatriate removable nationals: Laos, B1/B2 2 visa overstay rate of 28.34%. F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 11.41%. Refusal to accept removable nationals. Mali. Armed conflict widespread. Terrorist operations unrestricted in certain areas. Niger. Terrorist kidnapping threats. B1/B. 2 visa overstay rate of 13.41%. F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 16.46%. Sierra Leone. B1/B. 2 visa overstay rate of 16.48%. F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 35.83%. Non-cooperation on removable nationals. South Sudan. B1/B. 2 visa overstay rate of 6.99%. F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 26.09%. Refusal to repatriate nationals. Syria. Lack of central authority for civil documentation. B1/B. 2 visa overstay rate of 7.09%. F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 9.34%. Palestinian Authority documents. Weak local control and active terrorist groups prevent proper vetting. Partial suspension justifications. Selected countries. Angola. B1/B. 2 visa overstay rate of 14.43%. F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 21.92%. Antigua and Barbuda. Citizenship by investment without residency requirements. Benin. B1/B. 2 visa overstay rate of 12.34%. F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 36.77%. Dominica. Citizenship by investment without residency requirements. Gabon. B1/B. 2 visa overstay rate of 13.72%. F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 17.77%. The Gambia. B1/B. 2 visa overstay rate of 12.70%. F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 38.79%. Refusal to repatriate nationals. Malawi. B1/B. 2 visa overstay rate of 22.45%. F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 31.99%. Mauritania. B1/B. 2 visa overstay rate of 9.49%. Limited government presence complicates screening. Nigeria. Radical Islamic terrorist presence. B1/B. 2 visa overstay rate of 5.56%. F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 11.90%. Senegal. B1/B. 2 visa overstay rate of 4.30%. F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 13.07%. Tanzania. B1/B. 2 visa overstay rate of 8.30%. F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 13.97%. Tonga. B1/B. 2 visa overstay rate of 6.45%. F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 14.44%. Turkmenistan. Non-immigrant restrictions lifted due to progress. Immigrant entry remains suspended. Zambia. B1/B. 2 visa overstay rate of 10.73%. F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 21.02%. Zimbabwe. B1/B. 2 visa overstay rate of 7.89%. F, M, and J visa overstay rate of 15.15%. The proclamation underscores the President's commitment to secure U.S. borders, prevent admission of inadequately vetted individuals, and encourage international cooperation in addressing security risks. My next news is